All right, so I know some people in the room saw some of this. So my story today is going to be, it came up with the title, Burnout to Burning Bright. If you remember earlier when we introduced this Spark story, so that script that we had read by our wonderful David Attenborough, some of that, I mean, it was made up by Karen, but honestly, it was kind of true at the time. And that was all leading up to eventually me ending up here. So this is kind of a little bit of a journey of how I got here. So like many of you, we have that fire. It's working, burning bright as your early on. So for me, I had all sorts of different things that kept being able to fuel my fire. As we heard about the marigolds, I had those in my building. So had people working with great relationships with them, and that fire kept going. Okay? I got to try some different things, curriculum. This is the logo for modeling instruction. Kind of completely flips chemistry around. Turned it on to a hands-on thing. It was amazing. It was through a program at IIU. Loved going to those things early on. Kept fueling that fire, that energy straight out of college, that excitement. It's all great. Eventually I switched, found, this was Martin Palermo. He does a bunch of different work. Some of my chemistry people out there, he's a great resource, does a lot of different things. Was experimenting with flipped classroom, found him as a resource, reached out. He got me started with some different things. I started doing some different things with Edpuzzle because of that, exploring that, again, all that fun, experimenting, trying new things. So we had all of those things being able to fuel my fire. Again, had opportunities to do similar to this. There were some week-long things at my IU. One was, they were grant-funded things, allowed me to do things there. Still went to different conferences at the IU. So again, that stuff kind of keeps you fired up, keeps you going. And then if you've never been to Pete and C, check it out too, because that was another thing that gave me that refresh, restart as time went on. But then eventually, that fire does start to kind of go out, okay? So for me, there were things, like you get to that burnout, certain things kind of get in the way. And looking back, when I decided to kind of share and do a storyteller at Pete and C, I kind of looked back at things and figured out we had switched to a hybrid schedule with the station rotation model, if anybody's familiar with that one. My district was one of the early ones to adopt that. In a way, they kind of rushed into it. It was kind of crazy. But doing that got rid of the way I could do the modeling, because it just didn't fit with that rotation. So that log didn't have that, wasn't able to kind of keep going with that. But that's when I was able to get into the Edpuzzle stuff and the flipped classroom, was trying those new things. But we also, in doing the hybrid, did a trimester schedule, which was, again, taking a full year course. We chopped it down in half and then taught that in 2/3 of a year. So it was weird, the hours and the time, it all worked. But looking back, like, that really kind of messed some things up, because we ended up having to kind of split the courses and I got to teach, it was still Chem A, Chem B, but there was another Chem teacher. He was great to work with, but there were times where we had certain kids for Chem A, but then I didn't have a Chem B, or I picked up kids that he had, and it got messy because we had to be like pretty much exactly on the same place to make it all work or go from there. So that, again, that kind of stopped some different things. And then my supportive colleagues, one moved on to admin, the other one, I'd say, would be my marigold that I had. He retired. So then they left and we had to hire some new people, but then some of them that we hired later realized that they were kind of sneaky. They were in it for themselves. So I was trying to be supportive of them, and then ended up having to kind of change things that I did, kind of get away from the way I enjoyed doing them. So that flipped classroom stuff disappeared. Luckily, I was still able to go to the IU, go to P&C, still had some things there kind of helping me out. But then, like that last brick that kind of was that wall that I hit, we had a new admin come in and they just made it miserable. So that kind of, luckily I still got some of those things, so that fire was still slightly there. But then that wall was there. I was kind of stuck. This was, I threw a prompt into AI to create an image. Hit that wall, and I had a crazy kind of burnout. Kids were just playing that game of school. I was trying to find ways to do it. I couldn't get out of, this is the little rut that it gave me, that weird little thing there. But there was just that disconnect. So I started looking for different things. I was like, is education right for me? Went, applied different places, maybe got an interview here or there, but then nothing kind of came of that. So I'm like, all right, I've got to do something for me. One nice thing, some of the other admin that last year I was able to be one of our tech liaisons, and was suggested that I get nominated for KTI. So it was a struggle to get my admin to nominate me, but at P&C, it finally came through last year, or 2 years ago, that he did end up nominating me like right before the deadline. Got nominated, applied for Summit, and I came here and things turned around. It was exactly what I needed at the right time. So for me, the thing that clicked most was the whole Spark project that we did. Listening to George's story, I think it was like Monday or Tuesday, early on. It talked about imposter syndrome, and that clicked for me. It was like, am I worth it? And they helped me. I had a great roommate. Wasn't gonna try and lose it here, but met Addie at STEM Light. We messed around I mean, this one's from this year, but kind of ended up picking on her. Everybody here just clicked, cared for me. I even messed with them. If you see the fun picture on the bottom, that's the staff picture that they had last year. So I was challenged to mess around with some things. We were trying to pick on Burnout because he was stealing things. So we were like, okay, what can we steal from him? So if you see there, I stole his beard. So we made some fun different things. I got to joke around, connected with the lead team. It was great. I didn't know what I wanted to do for my Spark project, but then I sat there with Lego thing, and Ella was great. I'm like, this is what I want to do. So I went through, spent the rest of my time focused on that Lego, and I knew coming into Summit I was going to start a new job. Still in my district, but I shifted went the crazy direction, went from high school to the junior high. It was weird. I told myself early on I was never going to teach middle school. Not my thing. But it's weird. It is my thing. So this past school year, started at our junior high building. They welcomed me in. It was great. The one assistant principal saw me when I was touring the building, see where my room was going to be, and he said, "Welcome home." So the fire came back. They let me get the Lego things. I wasn't sure about the money, but they were like, "We got it. Here you go." So I had a blast playing with the Lego stuff with my kids. I stepped up, took over a role and got more active in PACT. Kept going with that, led to some different opportunities, and then I got to join staff. And it was great, because I knew Tuesday of my week, I wanted to be here. And now I'm here, so.